Week 7 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers I'd look to sell and trade this week. The first guy, Kopech of the Chicago White Sox. Kopech, we know he was an early draft pick a few seasons ago for the Chicago White Sox, and so far this year, what a season it's been. 42 innings, 1-1 record, 17 hits, 6 earned runs, 19 walks, 39 strikeouts, 3 quality starts, a 1.29 ERA, and an 0.86 whip. So he's gone out there and he's pitched great baseball for the White Sox and fantasy owners. But I don't know if it's going to keep up for the rest of the season here as Kopech. And we know throughout his career, they've tinkered with him in and out of the bullpen and the starting rotation. But the last couple outings for him, May 15th versus the Yankees, 6 innings, got the loss though. 1 hit, 3 runs, 4 walks, 3 Ks, a quality start. And then May 22nd at the Yankees, he pitched a gem, 7 innings, got the win. Only 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks, and a quality start. So right now, that ERA, there's no way it's going to stay under a 2 this season here for Kopech. I know the White Sox are a pretty good baseball team, even though they started out of the gate slow in the early going. But right now, with an ERA that good, and he's still only 1-1 with that ERA, he's definitely a sell-high candidate, is Kopech. And I think you could get a good hitter or a good pitcher with more consistency throughout his career this week. The next guy is Joe Ryan of the Minnesota Twins. So early in the season, I had Ryan on the sell-high list, and I'm still going to have him here because Ryan, another guy off to a great start, but not much of a track record under his belt as well on the season. 43 and a third, 5-2 record, 29 hits, 11 runs, 14 walks, 42 strikeouts, 4 quality starts, a 2.28 ERA and an 0.99 whip. So right here, the Minnesota Twins, they've been playing good baseball so far in the early going this season. And Joe Ryan's been a good part of it, but he did hit the wall a little bit May 3rd and May 10th versus Houston. 4 innings, got the loss. 4 hits, 4 runs, 5 walks, 3 Ks. But the last 2 outings, May 15th versus Cleveland, 6 innings, got the win in that one. 4 hits, 1 run, 5 Ks, quality start. And then May 21st at the Kansas City Royals, 5 2/3 in that ball game, got the win. 5 hits, 2 runs, 6 Ks. So right here, Ryan, he has 2 pretty easy matchups he just came off of versus Kansas City and the Cleveland Guardians. And I don't know if it's going to hold up for him. And I know he's got another good matchup coming up May 26th versus Kansas City on Thursday. But right here, he's just a guy with not a track record under his belt. He's still not going deep into ball games, in my opinion, as well. This season, he's only went 6 or more innings 3 times this year. Here's Joe Ryan. So right now, with the ERA down, while he's pitching good baseball and looking good for the Twins, he's a perfect sell-high candidate because he don't have much of a track record. And he's a guy who could even be on an innings limit as well. And he don't have many innings under his belt in the major league. So he's definitely a classic sell-high candidate this week. The next pitcher I'd look to sell this week's Martin Perez of the Texas Rangers. So what a resurgence so far for Perez here. Back in Texas after the last couple years he was with the Twins and the Boston Red Sox. So Perez, he was the top pickup of the week, no doubt about it, at the pitching position here, where I recommended to add him. But now if you could add him and flip him, this would be a perfect time to do it because just throughout his career, there's no way these numbers are sustainable, even though I know it's a dead ball this season here. And the pitchers have the advantage on the season, 49 and a third, 3-2 record. He's got 1 complete game shutout versus the Houston Astros last week. 38 hits, 9 earned runs, 12 walks, 38 Ks, and 6 quality starts. So right here, he's pitching great, no doubt about it. But the thing obviously is he's a pitcher that pitches to contact, and eventually some of those balls are going to find the holes. He don't throw that hard. And the last few seasons, he's been a 4th or 5th starter at best. So the last couple outings here for Perez, 6 innings on May 15th versus Boston, got the win. 5 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 7 Ks, and a quality start. And then May 20th, the complete game shutout versus the Houston Astros in that ball game, but still gave up 8 hits, 1 walk, and 5 Ks with obviously the quality starts. So no way I think this ERA stays under 2. 1.64 on the season with a 101 whip. And he's pitching out of his mind, no doubt about it. But what a perfect way to pick up a player who's doing good and then flip him for a better play with more consistency throughout his career. So right here, Martin Perez, the classic sell-high candidate. And like I mentioned, I know the division isn't all that great, but just going off the stats over the last few seasons and just his consistency, there's no way he keeps it up. So I would sell him high this week. The next guy is Mikolas of the St. Louis Cardinals. So Mikolas, it's been a great season for him, no doubt about it. And another guy who I said a few weeks to sell high. So on the season, 55 innings already, 3-2 record, 43 hits, 12 runs, 11 walks, 41 Ks, 6 quality starts, a 1.96 ERA, and an 0.98 whip. So a lot of pitchers off to amazing starts this season here, where they're not going to keep up these great ERAs, obviously, and good whips as well. And they're perfect time to sell them high because the weather's getting warmer around the league, and that ball is going to start carrying out and flying. And Mikolas, over the last couple seasons, he's coming off injuries, and this year I think is fluky. I know he has that nice 12-6 hook in his arsenal, but we saw it a couple games ago versus the New York Mets where they were hitting him early in that ball game, but a couple runners they left on base and really didn't knock him out of the game. So the last few games here for Mikolas, May 11th versus Baltimore, 7 innings, got the win, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 3 Ks, a quality start. May 17th at the Mets, like I mentioned, 6 innings, got the loss, kept his team in the ballgame, though, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, 5 Ks in that one, and a quality start. And then May 23rd versus Toronto, 6 2/3, but a no decision. 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks, and a quality start. So right here, Mikolas, he gives up a decent amount of hits, and I just don't think he's going to sustain these numbers here. So right now, while he's on a pretty decent team in St. Louis, who's going to give him run support and could hit the baseball, and while his ERA is under a 2, he's a guy I definitely will look to flip, because before the All-Star break or right after, I think he's going to come back down to earth and tire out as well. The last few seasons, like I mentioned, he's been injured and he don't have many innings under his belt. And the fifth and final pitcher I look to sell and trade this week is Eric Loria of the Milwaukee Brewers. So the Brewers, I know they have a great pitching staff here this season, obviously headlined by Woodruff and Corbin Burns, even though Woodruff's off to a horrible start this season in his aspect of the type of elite pitcher he is. So on the season here, though, for Loria, he's pitching lights out, 41 2/3, 4-1 record, 31 hits, 10 earned runs, 8 walks, 54 strikeouts, and 5 quality starts. So the thing that really pops out to me on the season here for Eric Loria is the 54 strikeouts in 41 2/3. He's not a big strikeout pitcher throughout his career. And also the ERA at 2.16 and an 0.99 whip. That's just no way that's going to hold, in my opinion, here. So right here, he was a guy most people didn't even draft on draft day, and they picked him up the free agency. And what a better way to pick up a guy who could put up these stats and then you flip him for something even better with a track record. I know he pitches on a good team in Milwaukee, but I just can't see it, especially with this high strikeout rate. Is Loria 54 and 41 innings, which is a huge number that he's putting up right now. So the last few outings here for Loria, May 6th at Atlanta, 6 1/3, got the win. 2 hits in that one, 1 run, 3 walks, 8 Ks, a quality start. May 14th in Miami, came back down to earth a little, 5 innings, got the loss. 6 hits, 4 runs, 7 Ks. And then May 20th versus Washington, 7 innings, got the win in that one. 5 hits, no runs, 5 Ks. So right here, he's pitching good. But he's had a lot of easy matchups over the last couple months here. Versus Pittsburgh once in there, at Baltimore, versus the Cubs, at Miami, and versus Washington. Very weak hitting teams. So right here, he's taking advantage of the weak hitting teams. And he's pitching good, but right now, he's going to get into the tougher matchups coming up with St. Louis on tomorrow's ball game. Eric Loria's a guy who's a perfect sell-high candidate. He don't have a lot of innings under his belt in his career as a starter, and his strikeouts are way up there, and the ERA's at a great rate. So he's definitely a pitcher I would sell high this week. So that's a few pitchers I'd look to sell for Week 7 of the fantasy baseball season.